Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Arbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now today I would love to show you a beautiful fall card featuring the Autumn Expressions bundle and some of the coordinating products from the suite. But I do have a quick announcement for you because it is currently October 8th, 2024, and if you're watching this live, then I'd love to just let you know we are having a 3-day stamp sale going on right now from October 7th to the 9th, where you can get 15% off of all the stamps from the annual catalog. So unfortunately, this autumn stamp set here, it is from the holiday catalog. It's not on sale right now, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it. I just want to throw it out there though. My website's listed at the bottom of the page and you can have items shipped to you anywhere in Canada. That sale is going on. Currently, also in October 2024, we have a kits collection sale. So if you go to my website once again and just in the search box type in kits, you will see at least or all of our kits have some sort of discount. Many are discounted up to 20, 25, 30%, and you can find all sorts of kits. So whatever you're looking for, if you have a question about that, let me know. And if you're looking at all this stuff and you're like, yep, I love it all, I love too much, I have to throw this out there this month because we have a starter kit special as well. So if you have ever been thinking that, yes, maybe I would like to get the most for my money, this is a great opportunity for you to do that. So for only $135 in Canada, everyone else's currencies will be different, you will get to pick out $206 worth of product. You can pick stamp sets and kits that are already discounted. You will get the discounted price. And then in that order, you do not pay shipping or GST on your items. So you're kind of getting over $240 value for only $135. Our starter kits are no obligation. When you sign up, you will automatically be registered on my team. I will touch base with you, find out if you're just interested in pursuing this as a hobby or if you want to chat about it as a business. But there's always no pressure. If, at some point you're like, yeah, I don't need to buy anything else, it's okay. There's no penalties for that. But if you do decide you want to buy something during the time that you're still active as a demonstrator, you are automatically eligible for a 20% discount on your supplies. And that 20% really adds up because for myself, when I order kits, which I'm going to be ordering a ton of this month, I get a 25% discount now because I've worked up to that, but I would start at a 20% discount, plus I get the 30% discount on those kits already. So for me, because I do some fundraisers where I sell cards and I sell items here at my house throughout the year, and then once or twice a year I purchase a bunch of kits to donate to our local Stollery Children's Hospital, I get the most out of that money because of these deals. So if any of that interests you, please reach out. I would love to chat with you about it further, but I do want to also acknowledge that some of you are just here for the crafts. So let's get busy. I have posted all of the measurements in the description on this video. So if you get lost at any point, just click that pause button and you're able to just cut all your pieces and join us again. And I'm ready to go if you are. So here we go. Autumn Expressions is a gorgeous stamp set with coordinating dies and complementing papers, embellishments, ribbon, and leaves. So I'm going to show you all of those different pieces on today's project, which is why I wanted to do this card for you this week. It's also one that I'm showcasing at my monthly card club. So if any of you are in Edmonton and you ever want to craft with us, I have classes the second Tuesday and second Wednesday of every month. The class is $20 or it's free with a $40 order. And you get to play with 3 different suites or 3 different projects that I have for you. So we're going to play with the Splendid Autumn Suite. Here we go. I think I bumped something off the table. Yes, my ribbon. Give me 1 second. Okay, my ribbon fell. So let's craft away. To begin, we need a card base, and I went with one of our beautiful fall colors. This is the copper clay. It's one of our in colors, and I cut this at 4 1/4 by 11, and I put a score mark here at 5 1/2, so that when I fold this card in half, it's great. I can open and close it to have a top folding card. Now on the inside of my card, I always like to have something to write on. So you can choose ivory, like very vanilla, or a white. It's completely up to you. You can go color as well. Yellow is easy to see, but I just went with a vanilla piece. It is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just attaching that to the inside of our card. Now, when I'm cutting the beautiful designer series paper for the front of my card, I often end up with a lot of little scraps. They're kind of cut-offs. I might not have enough room to use them on something else. So this is one of those cut-offs. It's about 1/2 inch by 4, and I've just cut that when I cut my card front for the inside of the card. Now these pieces can be thicker or thinner depending on what scraps you have. There's no right or wrong for this piece. So I'm just going to attach mine now. It's about 1/2 inch by 4 inches. It does have to be, or you want it to be 4 inches across. Other than that, it can be 3/4 of an inch. It could be an inch. It's just going to add a little bit of character to the inside of your card and kind of tie the front and the inside together. You can stamp anything else you'd like in there too. There's a really cute like wheat or perhaps this wood grain log, but that I like to do later. Now onto the front of my card. Okay, you can see I had trouble choosing which designer series paper to use. I'm going to bring that catalog back. This Splendid Autumn paper is 6 by 6. One of the sides will have a gorgeous autumn scene, and the other side has a very neutral kind of colored palette for you. So you can see, even just from this small little window that I'm showing you, it was probably quite challenging for me to pick which paper I just wanted to single out and use on this card. So I'm using the sunflowers on my sample. I've got these little guys here. I'm not a plant expert, but a beautiful wildflower, maybe baby's breath on this one, but you could use any of these other fields and they would stand out amazingly as well. Okay, so whatever you have on hand would be great. This piece I have cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put it flat onto the front of the card. Now I've successfully dropped another thing to the floor, I think because I have these sleeves, so I'm just going to roll them up. They keep bumping everything that I have for my card. We'll get them out of the way. Alrighty, make sure this is facing the right way. You don't want to accidentally put your flowers on upside down. That should have just a slight little center or border around it. Now our next piece that we need is going to be this back accent piece here. And I know it's very subtle, it's very simple, but it's going to be a piece of Cajun Craze that we're going to do a little bit of accessorizing to. You probably have an old plaid stamp, or you can easily add an embossing folder to this and it would look gorgeous. But I want to show you a couple techniques on this card, and you can take it or leave it, completely up to you. If you don't want to color like I'm doing, then we do have a great plaid embossing folder in the holiday catalog. It came out with the Reindeer Days suite. Okay, so this little piece of cardstock is going to be 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then if you want to do what I'm doing, you're going to grab a ruler, a scrap piece of paper, and your, sorry, I said Cajun Craze earlier, didn't I? This is crushed curry, sorry. And your crushed curry Stampin' Right marker. You can use blends as well, but we're going to just haphazardly do some lines. So I'm using the thicker marker section. This one is the fine tipped. You can do that. You could maybe alternate. I'm just going to go with the thicker one, and I'm just going to draw lines across my card. You do not have to measure this exactly. In fact, I'd encourage you not to, because then your card will end up, oh, that one went crooked. Let's try again. Then your card will end up being a little too predictable, okay? We want a little bit of difference in this. So I'm just gonna randomly draw lines. Does not like that third line. Good thing it'll be hidden. In the back here. And then we're gonna do some lines sideways. We're basically just making our own plaid, but the fun of it is it's whatever you want it to be. You could use 2 different colors. You can just stick to the one, or you can emboss. Whatever works for you. Okay? Make sure to clean that ruler afterwards, because otherwise it might get other projects dirty. Okay. Now we're going to just subtly put this onto the front of the card. I put it down with double-sided tape because I'm adding a lot of detail with my other pieces, but you could pop it up as well if you wanted to. So I'm putting this down near the bottom section of the paper, kind of not dead center, but just in the bottom third. And now you have quite a bit of die cutting to do. So let me show you what we need to cut out. So from the Autumn Expressions die set, you're going to use this really large piece here. When you cut it out, you'll notice it's all one piece. These middle sections end up popping out and they create this little frame. And then you'll end up having 2 options for a frame, a thicker one and a thinner one. Both will work for this. It's going to be great either way. And then you're going to want to add one of these little chains for the top of your project. So we're cutting this piece out in black for the frame, as well as in designer series paper, okay? And that's going to be the inside piece. So it doesn't matter which piece you find, just something that's subtle, it's got a little bit of coloring to it, okay? So I've cut that out, pretend there was a second one, and I just chopped them in half. And now I have this guy here. It can fit directly inside of this, which is great, but I don't want it falling apart. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to subtly add a little bit of tape to the back so that it stays together. You don't need a ton, but just a little bit. Two, just 3. That's good enough. Okay. While it's turned over, you're going to add some dimensionals, and that is going to pop this up on the card front, so it's easy for you to kind of draw attention to that focal point. Here. This guy now gets put right in the center of your plaid piece. And then you should have this adorable little thing. Now here's where it gets tricky to add this to the card. These chains are very small and short. You can't add a dimensional without noticing it to most of the parts. So what you can do is you can add glue, and you can just stick it down behind, and it looks great. If you want it popped up like I'm doing here, you're going to have to cut some of your dimensionals. So from some of your side pieces here, we're just going to cut one of those little pieces in a teeny tiny strip. We're going to add it to the bottom of this Okay. Sorry, I have to lift this up. It's tricky to see. There we go. One. Snip off the end. Okay, I've done one. I'm actually just going to use the end of that piece. Right there. And there's two. So it's up to you. You do not have to do that part, but I definitely like the raised look. So that's what I'm going to do here. There. All right, continuing on our decorating journey. The next piece that we're going to add is a beautiful little piece of this ribbon here. You can see it's got the gorgeous little wild wheat on the outside and then bands of kind of like sheer and ivory in the middle. And all we're doing is we're going to just fold that in half. You might have to kind of place it onto your card to see how it looks first, and then trim off your edges however you need to. I like to just have two angles facing each other. And then to attach this to the card, we're just going to use a piece of double-sided tape. It doesn't matter that it's just going to be right in the middle. Your tag will cover it, okay? So put it somewhere that that tag is going to cover it. Right there. Now, speaking of tags, that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do our grateful for you, and then we'll add a few other details. So moving that to the side, I think I will probably come in later, or see if I can move this over. Yes, that's better. Okay, for your grateful for you. That is one of the 3 gorgeously large sentiments on here. You can choose any of the 3. They'll work perfectly. But I've mounted this one, and I'm going to show you how you can make this little image with the 2-tone coloring. If you don't want to do that, again, you can just stamp in one solid color and you will be fine, okay? If you want to give this a try though, we're going to put our block on the desk and start with we're going to use 2 inks. So I have Crushed Curry and Cajun Craze. We're going to start with the lighter one. And we do this on the desk so you can see what you're doing. And you're just going to ink up the very top of the word grateful. You always do the lighter color first, because then it won't affect this ink pad now when I come in and I start adding color from the bottom up. And you just try to get them slightly overlapping. Okay, so you work your color up and then you just try to make sure you've got a little overlap between those 2. Puff on it because it's been sitting for a few minutes here. And then always make sure to clean this right after because you don't want those 2 colors mixing on your ink pads. Now let's say you don't have the 2 ink pads, but you do have the Stampin' Write markers. You can color on red rubber stamps. So again, we're going to start with the yellow and just color the very top of that. And then you're going to color the bottom. This is also easier because you can see what you're doing, but it does take longer. So it's your preference, whether you want to try the ink pads or whether you want to use the markers. This one you do want to make sure, give it a nice huff. I'll just turn that over so you can see and stamp that down. They look great either way. And this is just a piece of scrap paper, so I'm not entirely sure how large it was. Just make sure you have something that's bigger than the stamp itself. Unfortunately, there's no dies for this guy, so you will have to sit here and fussy cut it. But just go nice and slow, give yourself a good white border. You don't need to go right up to the letters. And don't worry if it's a bit messy. You can do kind of that bubble look. Just trying to get the general shape, and as bad as you think it looks on the in your hands, it will look great on the card. Okay, I'm always my worst critic with fussy cutting. I don't think my pieces look great, but then once they go on the card, I don't notice, and nobody else notices. So this will take a minute. I'm one of those people who I'm like, if I could just have a die for everything, that would be wonderful. I pretty much, if something has a die, I'm sold. So that's just me. Some people love fussy cutting, and they're good at it. Okay, see, not so bad. We're going to pop that up on dimensionals so that it really stands out on the card front. But because we already have our ribbon in place, I'm going to put my dimensionals onto the blue section here because I don't actually want any dimensionals on top of the ribbon. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in place and kind of eyeball it for a second, see where I might want dimensionals. And that's pretty much just going to be kind of like right under the ribbon and right above the ribbon. Like that. This guy can go on. I put it right in the middle pretty much. Oh, that needs to move over. Your tape might get in the way a bit. That's okay. You can always peel that back if you need to. There we are. See, nobody knows the tape's back there. Now time to decorate. So with the beautiful dies, I have cut out a little copper clay leaf and a mossy meadow leaf. I have also grabbed myself the set of faux glass dot embellishments, and I just grabbed 3 different colors. So whichever ones you want to pull out of the pack. I used a large, and a small. And then here's my favorite thing from this package. These leaves, look at them. I do want to let you know the catalog says they're adhesive back. They're not. So you're going to want to have them able to tuck in just with the glue dot. And one fun thing is you can color on them. You can color them with your blend markers if you don't want the gold look. I do want the gold look, so I'm going to leave them. But if you wanted, you can color over them and they look gorgeous as well. So we're going to start by attaching these ones just with a glue dot. And the glue dot only needs to go right at the bottom here. You can barely see it, which is nice. But we're tucking this one kind of behind, and we're just going to start building a really nice background look. So put it further if you want. I don't know. It's going to look great either way. So there's one large and one small leaf. You can use leaves that are the same size. It doesn't really matter. Just tuck one further down if it's the same size leaf. Okay. I do want this tucking under here. He's so cute. Okay, continuing on, glue dots are going to be your best friend. This green one I tucked behind the ribbon. I have to remember what I did. There we go. And then the orange one I actually tucked in front of the ribbon. So it's up to you. Wanted something sitting on top of that ribbon there. And again, I'm just putting glue dots on the very bottom of these leaves. Now for your little embellishments. I might take your pick tool because it's far easier to use. One. It's a large one. Two, kind of just tucked in here. and 3. There we go. See, it's so pretty, and it doesn't really matter which designer paper you put in the back because they're all going to look gorgeous no matter what you have. So there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you did, please click that like and subscribe button. I do really appreciate your support. And make sure to tune in next Tuesday for another edition of Show Me How It's Done. Bye!